All right, folks, sorry about that. Sorry about being late. All right, call the meeting to order, 7:51 p.m., Wednesday, November 5th.
Councilwoman Selby,
Present.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Present.
Supervisor Keating,
Present.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Present.
Councilwoman Martin.
Not present.
Councilwoman Selby, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we do not have any other preliminary matters tonight, so moving on to item number 2 for our regular business. Item number 1 is the correction and adoption of the minutes from the October 1st and 15th, 2025 meeting. And Councilman Cardicchini, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. Just a moment.
Sure thing.
Well, I was absent for the...
Meeting. Yeah,
The first.
yeah, we could just make a motion to.
Okay. I was present for the October 15th meeting. I make a motion that we adopt the minutes from October 1st and October 15th.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 2 tonight is in consideration of all fund bills. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Upon review of the abstract and fund bills, I'd like to make a motion to approve in the amount of $587,091.59, which most of that constitutes our water projects.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin. I'm sorry. Motion carried.
Normal routine. All right, item number 3 tonight for our business is our correspondence. There are 8 items, all part of the board packet and in the town clerk's office and available for review, and they are as follows. Item 1 is a notice of a public hearing for the Erie County Agricultural Farmland Protection Plan. Item 2 is the NYSEG crews continue working to restore power caused by damaging winds. Item number 3 is another NYSEG and RG&E lose power on a sunny day. NYSEG, it's titled Lose Power on a Sunny Day. NYSEG and RG&E to inform customers why outage happened as part of their new smart meter program. Item number 4 is the NFTA opposition to a proposed disinvestment in transit and municipalities in the 2026 Erie County budget. Item number 5 are the income statements for September of 2025. Item number 6 are the cash balances for September of 2025. Item number 7 is an application for use of meeting for the committee to elect stalker for Congress. Item number 8 is an application of use of meeting for Girl Scout Troop 34715. And again, all those are in a part of the board packet and in the town clerk's office for review. Moving on to our new business, item number 1 are requests from the floor. If anyone would like to come up, we've got a nice audience here tonight, so if anyone would like to come up to the microphone, please state your name and your address and keep it to 3 minutes each. The floor is now open.
Richard Hawkins, 6892 Pin Oak Drive. If it's possible, I'd like to approach the chairman's thing and present him with a petition of about 120 signatures. What the petition is to request a public hearing so that we can look at rezoning these parcels in the town of Boston from a quarter-acre lot to 3/4-acre lots on 200-foot frontage. Most of the people out in the community moved out here because they love the country. They love the smell of what happens out here, everything that goes on in the country. And if they wanted to live in the city, they would have moved to the city or built to the city. I know the first step on this is to hand you this petition. Absolutely. It also goes with a comprehensive plan on a green space in town, which that's every comprehensive plan I think we've ever done or had to do has to do with the green space. So if you
Absolutely.
could, I'd appreciate it.
Yep. Yeah.
I know we can't do much more about it other than that because nothing has been brought in front of the town board or the planning board or anything else, and that there will not be until December. But most of the people here are residents that live in everyone here is a resident in this community. A good share of them live in the residency that the new subdivision is being talked about and talked about developing, and they're here. And I'm sure if you want, every one of them can come up here and give you a 3-minute presentation on why they do not want it. But I feel that I'm the one that started this, and I'm the one, and I appreciate everybody that's here tonight. I want to thank everybody for the support that they gave me through the election, and just because I lost, I'm not going away, so you don't have to worry about it. I will fight for the residents of this community tooth and nail. Thank you.
Thanks, Rich.
Good evening. My name is Roy McLean. I live on 6887 Pin Oak Drive. I've been a resident here in Boston on Pin Oak Drive for almost 30 years. I'm here this evening to voice my concern raised by the development of the property adjacent to Pin Oak Drive, the 35-acre parcel that borders Pin Oak, Boston State, and the power line that we're all familiar with. We've come to learn the developer has plans to build more than 60 homes on this property. I understand that development is part of the growth of this community, and while perhaps I do not like I may not like what the primary goal there is, that's not the primary reason for my concern. For many years, the drainage on the upper portion of Pin Oak Drive has been directed onto private property between my home and my neighbor's home. Originally, this was created to accept overflow when the street drainage could not accept any more water. Years ago, a concrete structure was constructed to take excess water and direct it to the aforementioned parcel that has now been stripped to the dirt for development. The highway supervisor has stated that the current road drainage on Pin Oak Drive cannot handle the amount of water and debris that comes with heavy rains and especially the spring thaws. Today, 100% of the water from the upper portion of Pin Oak Drive from both sides of the street are directed between my house and my neighbor onto private property into that field, also private property. For 25 years, my wife and I have had to manage this drainage, digging out this path by hand with shovels. And we're talking tons of material over the years, backbreaking work. If we don't, that drainage floods out our backyards, our basements, and all the yards down the street. As a result, our sump pumps frequently fail because they run all the time. I get about 4 to 5 months, maybe out of a sump pump, about $200 a pop. We spent countless time trying to keep this thing open, but it constantly fills with rocks, debris, mud. And at one point, the town actually came, I think it was about 16 years ago, and cleaned out the ditch. But as it's on private property, they haven't done so in many years. The current developer disrupted this drainage, but was good enough to come out and clean that out today. However, we appreciate their cooperation in resolving that, but obviously this doesn't resolve the original problem. To me, it's obvious that the town's drainage strategy should not include routing water onto private property because it's unwilling or incapable of engineering a solution. All of the Pin Oak Drive taxpayers pay for appropriate drainage in the front of our homes, and counting on 1 or 2 residents to maintain the flow by directing that flow onto private property is ridiculous. It's unacceptable. My understanding is the routing of this water to private property instead of engineering appropriate solutions is perhaps utilized in many other places in our town. It's my belief that the further development or approving or encouraging further development would be irresponsible and doesn't align with the comprehensive plan, and it's certainly not in the best interest of our existing taxpayers. I ask the town to use appropriate resources to solve our long-standing problem before compounding them with additional development. It's early in the development process. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Rob Scrayback. I reside at 8770 Boston State Road. Now, this is in line with the same thing that's developing on Pin Oak. Now, we've heard that it may be farmland, which, to my knowledge, it's not zoned as farmland. But as far as the development goes, waiting on another 60 units, that's fun to say. We've been boiling water for 3 days. We don't have the infrastructure to support any more. Now, we just passed $500,000 bill to improve what we've got existing right now. if you remember a couple of years ago, our electricity was out for 72 hours, which that was extra fun. Everybody's noticed the increased traffic on 391, which the 219 was supposed to take that away. It has not, because we keep building more and more. If it is farmland, right now there's nothing growing on it, but it's clear cut. Everything's gone. It's made out of clay. This winter, if we get hit as hard as we all expect we're gonna, you're gonna turn the existing areas of Pin Oak into a floodplain. Is anybody gonna, cover their insurance bills? I don't think so. Wildlife that's already been pushed out of the area. Everybody, I'm sure, has noticed increased coyotes. You got a lot of people out here that raise chickens, livestock. If you want more gunshots, you're going to get more gunshots. That's just what happens. I'm sorry, I don't have everything as organized as everybody else.
Good.
If it is going to be housing, do you think a bunch of cheap houses, roads, and 2 at best 4 inches of topsoil is going to actually help anything? It's still going to make it a floodplain. What else do I got here? Oh yeah. When's the last time in the history of living in Boston that anybody ever thought about taking the keys out of their truck, locking their door, and putting up security cameras? More people always equals more crime. That's just the way it is. It's just a fact. I mean, more people might increase tax revenue, but that never lowers taxes. Taxes have never been lowered. The more people you invite to the party, the smaller piece of birthday cake they get. And whatever happens, happens. But just know, everything that's built can be unbuilt. Rome wasn't built in a day, but Nero watched it burn and played a fiddle the entire time. So please take into consideration the people that help these individuals doing this, whatever they're doing, help them build this town. They started here, and now they're willing to sell their souls to destroy what helped build them and everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got to work in the morning, so I'll see you guys later.
Thank you for coming out tonight. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Deputy Miller, you have the floor, sir.
I can't top Rich, but I'll try. So for the month of October, the Sheriff's Office handled 103 calls in Boston. We did 64 premise checks. We had a total of 12 accidents, 39 traffic stops, resulted in 2 arrests, and both were DWIs. Kind of one of our lower months all year for calls and arrests. Guess that's a good thing, right? For the
Knock on wood.
residents. For us, the more arrests, usually the better, the busier we are. Make the day go by. Anyways, I attended 5 events at Boston Valley. I've been working with them on a lot of different things. I was at their trunk or treat, tons of kids there. It was jam-packed. It was in the gym. Also, Boston Fire had one. Same thing, big turnout there. I was at the Boys and Girls Club as well. And things are winding down for events, but it's been a busy summer and a lot of good this summer. So, any questions for me? Anything? Nothing new.
I'm going to knock on, I don't have anything. I'm going to knock on wood. It's been relatively quiet.
Yeah, for us too, it's a good thing. So.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I see one more.
Jay Jackson, 7964 Back Creek Road. I am looking forward to information from our good supervisor and our holiday lighting liaison. It's been quite some time. We're approaching the limits for what Labella told us they were going to do. I'm interested to hear what Councilman Cartacchini learned on the phone. Looking forward to hearing that during your report. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there a possibility that the town board could possibly look at letting us know if they could schedule a public hearing the third week of this month or the first of next month?
Well, we have to legally put that on an upcoming board meeting agenda to schedule a hearing.
Okay. But you will let us know when it's going to be so that
Absolutely.
these fine residents can come back out and
Yes.
give their presents to you again.
Yes, just as in all past public hearings, just for anybody that's not familiar with the formality of government, public hearings are part of an agenda packet notice. So if you're looking at you as tax-paying citizens, if you're looking at the agenda, you'll see it in there, schedule a public hearing. Just for an example, like tonight, item number 2, which we're soon to get to, schedule a public hearing extending for an additional 6 months moratorium prohibiting the review and approval of applications and issuance of permits for battery energy storage systems. So to schedule that, there's no action taken by the town board tonight. We're scheduling that. So you as a citizen know that that's there. That directs the town clerk to publish that into the newspaper general circulation. It goes out to the town website. It goes out on our social media page. It gets posted on our message boards, all required by state law. Then that way, that designated date and time, you as the citizens can come in and speak in regard to that. So there's a long answer, but yes, Rich, that will be at the next meeting in November. We'll schedule that public hearing, and we'll go through that process.
Can I just ask one quick
Absolutely.
question? I understand there's a conversion of the website, the town website, from the old one to the new one.
Yes.
Many documents appear to be either unreadable, low
Ron.
resolution, and so forth. Is that going to be resolved, and did we pay to have that work done?
So that is being worked. Yes. Mr. McLean did speak that. There's a zoning map. If you take a look at there, I'll be honest. We're trying to figure out why it was converted from a scalable PDF, like you and I had discussed on the phone, to a PNG file. PNG, if you're not familiar with a PNG file, sometimes your cell phones can take those pictures, but you can't zoom in on them. So if you try to zoom in, it gets really grainy and you can't see it. So yes, those items will be corrected. Anyone else? All right, no other comments? Floor has been closed. All right, item number 2, speaking of scheduling public hearings, item number 2 is to schedule, once again, a public hearing, and this is to extend for an additional 6 months a moratorium prohibiting the review and approval of applications and issuance of permits for battery energy storage systems. I'll take this one tonight because myself and our legal counsel and some others have been working on this code, but I'd like to make a motion to extend this moratorium. The reason being is that if you're not familiar, we do have a proposed solar project in town. We're waiting for some litigation to play out on that because that will end up determining potentially how some of the language reads in our battery energy storage code. If you're not familiar with battery energy storage, just a little bit of history here. Battery energy storage could be anything from, the most common one that people seem to pick up on in the media is like the Tesla wall system. So you can put in your garage, and then you can have your utility, basically your utility wire running into them. Think of like charging your cell phones or your cordless, tools at your house, to larger scale energy storage systems, to full scale, what they call a commercial storage system. They look like shipping containers. This always started for a project that is not going to get off the ground. If you haven't heard about this, there was a proposal for a project off of Hun Road, over by it's called the Cobble Hill substation. So because we didn't have a code, we implemented an immediate moratorium was within days. And again, we need the additional time because we want to make sure we're doing this right the first time. So without further ado, I'd like to make a motion to extend for an additional 6 months to moratorium prohibiting the review and approval of all applications and issuance of permits for battery energy storage systems.
Second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cartacchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes, and my apologies. I left out. This is going to be scheduled. Here we go, Rich. This is going to be scheduled for December 3rd at 7:35 p.m. My apologies. I forgot got that.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. Item number 3 is Resolution 2025-10, or 100, a resolution rejecting 3 bids for a fuel tank replacement pursuant to New York State General Municipal Law, Section 103. And Councilwoman Lukacek, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I make a motion that the resolution number 2025-100, that we approve this because all 3 bids that we received failed to include the fuel costs that is required by the bid specs, constituting a material omission. So we cannot approve any of the 3. So I make a motion that we approve this resolution.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 4 tonight is Resolution 2025-101, authorizing disposal of surplus equipment. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-101, where we would like to dispose of surplus equipment, which includes a metal detector from 2010, a code enforcement desk, and miscellaneous soil testing equipment found in the code office, including a photometer and a black light. So these would be deemed surplus equipment, and we'd like to have these disposed.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, item number 5 tonight is Resolution 2025-102, Standard Workday and Reporting Resolution. Councilman Cardicchini, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I'd like to make a motion that we adopt Resolution 2025-102, which is the standard workday and reporting resolution that we're required to do according to the New York State local retirement system.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, item number 6 tonight is an application for use of facility for a graduation party for Christine Ballard. And Councilwoman Lukacek, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Robert Christine Ballard has submitted a application for use of facility. The date requested is June 28th, 2026. Is that date available for use of the Lion Shelter?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. The time is from 2 to 7. The setup is at noon, and it's takedown at 7 for a graduation party. And I believe we've already received the check for the maintenance fee. So I make a motion that we approve.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, we have one item for under old business tonight, and that is one item is a Resolution 2025-96, resolution authorizing investment in the Empire Public Investment Cooperative Fund of New York, also known as the EPIC Fund, cooperative agreement. I'll take this item tonight. This is a new funding program. The town has... New York State essentially is very restrictive on what any of the towns can invest public monies in for all the obvious reasons. So you can't go out and invest in the stock market. Back when this administration came in, we partnered with, it's called New York Class or NY Class, depending on who you speak to. But essentially what it allows us to do is take your funds, invest them on the short term, think of it like basic interest rates of today's checking accounts, where you're averaging on a high yield account, you're about 3.8% to 4%. That's essentially what we've been trending at for that New York Class. This is another fund. The difference being is that this fund utilizes what's called arbitrage rebates, so there's a higher yield on this. This is something the New York Association of Towns has created to essentially compete with both New York Class and then what's called New York Community Trust, and other potential investment opportunity out there. The yields are higher because they use what's called arbitrage rebates. So I could take us down the rabbit hole there, but there's a higher rate of return. These other programs don't offer that. So this resolution will authorize the formation of the pool, Town of Boston being one of the founding members. That's what it does. There's no financial commitment here. Full disclosure to all of you, it's your taxpayer dollars. But once the town does become part of this pool, we have an option to invest in that pool. Think of like going up and opening up a banking account, and when you want to invest the funds, you can put the money in that bank account. That's essentially what we're doing here tonight. So also full disclosure, I was asked by New York Association of Towns to be one of the founding members. We're not a member yet because we're not an official board yet. After this, we will be. But there was what they call a working group. They are the founding members. The Association of Towns selected myself, the town of Plattsburgh, the town of Glens Falls, and the town of Glensville to be part of this program. We're the four founding municipalities, if you will. That's what this resolution is doing tonight. And some of the conversation that we had last night or this evening downstairs is that we'll be looking at taking the taxpayer funds. When the town clerk has a tax warrant out, she'll take those funds and invest them, and we'll hope for that higher rate of yield of return, investing and stretching out your taxpayer dollars to offset costs. So I know I gave a lot of information there, but again, because this is something that I was asked to do, I'm going to be abstaining because this is, again, I'm a working group member here. So without further ado, the motion's on the floor.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Abstain.
Councilwoman Lukajek.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right. We have no other old business, so moving on to reports and presentations. Highway Superintendent, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to report that leaf pickup in town is still going on. We're looking for places to dump leaves. So a lot of people here tonight. Anybody looking for leaves, we'd be glad to bring them to you. We got plenty of leaves. The other thing, the gentleman that brought up about the drainage on Pin Oak. I mean, every road when they're put in, they have drainage systems that are put in, and that system there, the water comes down out of the woods, comes down crosses the road, and then it goes down through the field, down between their houses. That's the way it was when the road was put in. This new development, I don't believe can change that. That's the way it's going to have to be. You can't run that water all down Pin Oak Drive. It's no different than the ditch that goes down my road, crosses through my neighbor's property, then it goes underneath my driveway and goes all the way through my property. I just can't go out and tell the county, I don't want that water no more, and they're going to change it, run down the street, because it just isn't going to work. I mean, the drainage systems are put in for a reason when the roads are built, and that's the way it should stay. And other than that, on the correspondence tonight, I see that NICEC crews are continuing working on fixing the power lines and fixing electric that's out. What are we going to do in a few years when all these new houses are all electric and we do have a windstorm or a blizzard and power's out for a week? We don't have no heat, no electric. This whole deal with the all-electric houses is just another one of Kathy Hochul's dumb ideas. And other than that, the disposal of the equipment, are we going to auction that off? There's got to be some value to that equipment. Are we going to auction it somewhere where we can maybe bid on it?
That's certainly an option. Again, the town board has to authorize it.
There's got to be some value to a metal detector and soil testing equipment. And
So the soil testing equipment came from code enforcement. The reason we're getting rid of it is because it's not. There's a lot of layers to this one. So the town is, if you're not aware, because of drainage, topic of the night, we're part of what's called an MS4, a municipal separate stormwater sewer system. So say that a few times fast. Because we're part of that system, code enforcement and highway both do have their incremental responsibilities for testing what they call outfalls. With that being said, the equipment that we had was old, outdated. That's why we're disposing of that equipment. Obviously, it's, again, respectfully your taxpayer monies, but those were supplies that we had. That's how we legally dispose of them. And then as far as the security device, we could absolutely put it out there. The town board has to authorize the disposal. So, yes, we do have the option to either try to sell it or dispose of it. But, yes, the disposal, we could certainly do that. Yep.
I thought maybe we wouldn't have to raise the tax rate quite so high if we could sell a little bit of equipment there and keep the tax rate down a little bit.
Well, the tax rate, Bob, was part of the presentation, and it's the water projects going on. For anybody that wants it, you can go to the town website, go to the bookkeeper tab, download the budget presentation. The three things that took us over the tax cap this year is the multi-million-dollar water project that is currently underway. Phase 2 is slated for next year. Solid waste went up 6.1%. Again, all part of the budget presentation. And the third option was the Firefighter Service Award Point Program, also known as LOSAP, Length of Service Award Point Program. The town has been been made aware for many years. When we came in, we inherited a multi-million-dollar, when I say multi-million-dollar, just over $4 million deficit on that program. Speak to any of our firefighters. They've been part of these conversations since day one, since the 5 of us have been on this board, and we have been due diligence trying to get that down. We've been utilizing what's called excess sales tax. We've taken a conservative approach on the sales tax revenue. Erie County does not have to share sales tax with a municipality. That's based off of each county all across New York State. We take a conservative approach on that. We guesstimate a lower number based off of past year's receipts, and any money's coming in above and beyond the number that the board puts into the budget, it's deemed as what they call excess sales tax revenue. We as a board can then allocate those funds via board resolution, so you as a taxpayer can see exactly how that transactional process happens. And we've been funding the Service Award Point program with excess sales tax funds. The commitment from the actuarial, which now is Firefly, again, all part of the budget presentation is there, is a request of $400,000 per year for approximately 20 years. That's your money, and we understand that. So we've been trying to do due diligence and put monies there. This year's budget, we raised that, and we're hoping that we'll see what happens with our economic times. We'll take those excess sales tax funds, layer those on top of the $400,000 commitment, and try to shorten that length of time of the 20 years to, who knows? I mean, anybody's guess in this room is as good as mine. Let's say 18 years. So that's the strategy there, all part of the budget presentation. That's what took us over the tax cap. Yes, the 7.6% sounds higher than what it really is. If you look at the sales tax cap in dollars, it's less than $200,000. It's a little over $187,000 is the total dollar amount. It's the 7.6 that sounds ugly. If you happen to be up on a hill and you're not part of a water district, that 7.6% does not, that full effect does not hit you because you're not paying the levy on the tax for the water does not affect you because you're not in a water district. So again, it's all different. But yes, this is also another reason why this EPIC fund, to give you an idea, so I brought the information here tonight, didn't realize I was going to be bringing it up in this capacity, but to give you an idea, the New York class rate that we've been using since the 5 of us have been in office, yesterday's yield rate was a 3.8452. So we'll just call that a 3.85% interest rate. Same day, same time, we're looking at a 4.02. If you're a banking person, if you're a money person, I'm on record stating this. It's a 17.48 basis point difference, which equates to, if that was just on a daily interest rate, which it is, that's about an $1,800 positive return on that. Obviously, we're talking about finances. Past performance doesn't guarantee, future results, which are on all the disclosure statements on both of these websites. But that is something we're trying to do for you as taxpayers to try to return additional funds. So we don't have to look to you as taxpayers to offset these. Same way that we utilize Amazon and use Amazon points to buy office supplies and other things. Also something that this board did. So there's the answer on the tax rate. Anybody else would like to have any other questions on that? I'd be happy to answer them.
After listening to all that, I wish I wouldn't have brought that up.
Well, we have to reach some clarity.
That's all I have for tonight.
Councilwoman Selby, you have the floor.
I just want to say congratulations to our incumbents, Supervisor Keating on the election and Judge Bender. I look forward to working with 2 new people on the board, Bob Penders and Max Stefan. I'm going to miss you guys after December. Wish you well. And Richie, your heart is in the right spot. That's all I have to say. Thank you for all your work for your people, and you gave it a great shot. So I appreciate you, and hope we can always be friends. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Councilman Cartacchini, you have the floor.
Well, I got a laundry list of things. I'd like to thank the people that supported the town Halloween event that we had. We're fighting with the Board of Elections for the community room, and based on the attendance, the trunk or treats have been very saturated, and it's a lot to ask people to participate in those because of the cost. But we had about a dozen kids in the time that we had, but I wanted to thank Deputy Miller for coming out. He took time out and was able to get out with his boy for trick or treat, which was great. Patch and Fire Company brought the haunted trailer, which was cool. and it's always nice to see the members from Patchen. And Barbara Moore and Cindy Williams donated the Paula's Donut Holes, and Bob and June Telak donated pumpkins, and it was a ridiculous amount of pumpkins. But I just wanted to thank all the parties in that. The high school students, I'm assuming you guys are here for your government class. If you want to see me afterwards, I'd be happy to sign your form. And you picked the wrong meeting to come to. These are normally 15, 20 minutes in and out. But you do get to see what this is. And I would encourage every young person in this audience today to get involved. You know, that's part of the problem. There's a lot of apathy in this world because people don't want to get involved. But it's important to get involved in your community. And lastly, I didn't catch your name, sir, on Pin Oak. Roy McLean. I share your interest for the drainage, and I'll tell you why. And I've already addressed this with the planning board on this development. That parcel was for sale for a very long time, probably as long as I've lived here, which is 20 years. And I'm not a fan of telling people what they can do or what they don't do with their property, and anybody could have bought that property. But as it relates to the drainage, I've already lost a structure to 18 Mile Creek. Rich, you would remember this because you were on the roof when we donated it to the fire company for training because we were going to be fined by New York State DEC. When Hickory Meadows was created, they were supposed to create a drainage pond, and they didn't. They added another, they sold another lot. So where that water comes through, that's why the post office floods. Okay, do you know where I live? Mm-hmm. Okay, I live right next door to Rucker Lumber. And so that water comes down, the post office comes across, it goes underneath my neighbor's driveway, and there's a huge culvert. It's got to be, 4-6 feet? There's another feeder that comes in on the other side, and that comes off of your side of the hill. If the drainage isn't addressed, that's going to take another structure that I built, because I replaced my barn when I lost it. It took me a while to build the funds up to do it, but that's what we ultimately did. Just looking at that, the water has to go somewhere. We can only address problems that we're aware of. I wasn't aware that you had that kind of an issue at your property, and you shouldn't have to deal with that, to be honest. And in a number of ways, we've worked with the county to very successfully, address some of the drainage problems we have in our town. It's 2 hills and a valley. Mm-hmm. So, and there's a lot of water, and we all have experienced the rain in the last week. Mm-hmm. It's been biblical almost. So it starts with the county, and I share your concern for the drainage because it will directly impact my property. There's a good chance that if that creek turns, and you remember what happened, we were back there hiking around looking at it. The creek turned, and we weren't allowed to move the creek because of the environmental regulations. Dr. Zarnowski put in a crazy amount of money into
the riprap.
Riprap. And ultimately the creek turned. Well, when it turned, it took my barn. Now it's a beaver pond back there because it went back the same way that it always went, which was straight. So I'm on the record. I'm off the board. I got 3 more meetings, but I'm going to be following that very closely because it impacts my property. So a little long-winded tonight, like
all
the
good.
Supervisor, but
more information.
Just because something was done 30-plus years ago wrong,
yeah,
doesn't mean we have to keep doing it.
I agree with
Right.
you.
The statement was ridiculous.
Well, and
No, but seriously, we all agree that directing water from a municipal drainage system onto private property doesn't make sense, regardless of how many years it's been doing it. That's just crazy logic to say, because it's been done wrong for so many years, we have to keep doing it.
Right.
That's not true. Appropriate engineering can solve the problem.
Well,
We don't have the skills.
we have a great.
Let me finish, please.
Sure.
Right? So that needs to be handled. You can't count on a resident to maintain it, and that's what's happening now. If my neighbor isn't able to do it anymore, or I get cancer again and can't do it anymore, what the hell are you guys gonna do? Let it overflow the front yards? doesn't make any sense. That logic just doesn't fly. That's the part that's really irritating. And I appreciate the fact that it's a challenging thing to solve, Bob, but saying that it's been done for a long time and that's the logic for not solving it now is unacceptable. It doesn't make sense. Anyone with a brain can figure that out.
The sad thing is, a lot of those homes up there, and mine included, which is on the other side of the street, okay, and on a hill, that house was never built with a sump pump. I now have 2 sump pumps in my house. The one across this road is now, which has never had a sump pump in. The gentleman has retired, set on a fixed income. Health is not good. He's got to spend $5,000 on a sump pump, and they've already spent over $6,000 of replacing the 4x4s and everything alongside of that thing so that it'll go back in because the boards were rotting out, and they replaced them and spent their own hard-earned money. They're out there every weekend or whenever it rains and stuff, diverting that water off their property out into that field, and it was done before Bob ever got there. Okay, so I'm not blaming Bob. To the point that, you know, that was back probably Clarence Kreisbender or whatever when that subdivision was built. It started back, but we cannot continue to put a Band-Aid on something, wrap it up, and continue to let it going on down the road. You know, we need to go back, fix the problems so that when we continue to build the community out for housing or whatever else, we all know that the only way that the tax base is ever going to grow in the town of Boston is by homes being built. But they can be built in moderation like the Hickory Meadows, 3/4 lots that got nice yards and everything else. They don't have to be cluster homes that are on top of each other that are fire hazards. And the drainage needs to be fixed because your place that was used to be able to take one step across the creek, now you can't jump across the creek. And with all that water coming off that hill and road drainage, 64 homes with gutters and downspouts coming down and stuff, there's going to be a hell of a lot of
They're going to have to address it. But, you know, to your point, sir, we have a great contact with Erie County that we have worked on some really, really challenging issues and have solved them. So it would start with Mark Gaston, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, and that's what he does. You know, he knows more about it than.
There used to be drainage behind Capolino's, and that part of that, which the parking lot is sitting on today, collapsed years ago. That was also part of the drainage and over there. So all of that affects what happens over there, okay? And the county is gonna have to be involved because guess what? They're gonna have to put a humongous pipe underneath that Boston State Road to try to get the water to 18 Mile Creek. Because it's not going to get from one side to the other.
I can't comment on what they're going to have to do, but I do know that the conversation starts with Mark Gaston. So, and with that, I'll yield my time.
You got it. All right, Councilwoman Lukacek, you have the floor.
Okay, so business first. The planning board is normally scheduled for the second Tuesday. It is canceled because it is Veterans Day, and they are not looking to reschedule for November. So I would anticipate the second week in December would be the planning board, next planning board meeting. I live up on a hill, and I live next to wetlands with 2 sump pumps and in the house, and I've replaced 2 sump pumps with basement flooded. So 2 hills in a valley, I get it, but I still get it too. We do have a major drainage issue. Mark Gaskin has really been very, very helpful. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to get him involved before the planning board has to start dealing with a potential new applicant. Congratulations to the folks that just got voted in. Congratulations. And I do want to reach out and say thank you, Rich. You are a force to be reckoned with. So keep coming. Thank you all for showing up and speaking. That's what we need because we don't have enough of it. So that's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. There are some leftover deer management permits for the New York State DEC. available online and also at my office or a neighboring town clerk's office. The rest that I have is correspondence. This is from Barbara Moore. She asked to please announce at the town board meeting. This is regarding the Connect Life blood drive. I want to publicly commend and thank Rich Hawkins and all the Patchen Volunteer Fire Company. Yesterday's Connect Life blood drive would have been canceled due to the heating issue in the town hall. Without a moment of hesitation, the fire hall was open, tables were set up, heat was turned on, and we were able to proceed, resulting in collecting 29 units to help save 87 lives. The words "thank you" do not seem big enough to cover what these people do, not just for a blood drive, but for our town every day. Those words are the best that I have. A Barbara Moore, Town of Boston resident, and obviously the driving force behind the Connect Life blood drives. Next Connect Life blood drive will be held here at the Town Hall on Tuesday, December 2nd from 2 to 7 in the community room. And the next piece of correspondence that I have, this is a letter that I received from the Bread of Life Outreach Center that is over in Colden. As the Christmas holiday season approaches, we are once again filled with gratitude for the generosity and compassion of our community and your continued support. Each year, your kindness helps bring comfort and hope to local families in need. This year, we find ourselves facing a challenge. The growing number of families we serve has increased, and the available storage at Bread of Life Outreach has decreased. This lack of storage does not allow us the ability to collect, sort, and house the very generous amounts of donations we've received in the past. For this reason, the Bread of Life Outreach Center is requesting that their donations of gift cards are given in lieu of toys for the Town of Boston Sharing Tree for this year. So the gift cards requested are Walmart, Aldi, Tops, and Target. This would be appreciated much by the families that Bread of Life Outreach support to help keep both their dignity and flexibility to choose what they need most during the holiday season. The donations would be accepted here at the Town Hall or directly at Bread of Life Outreach. They would like to receive those by December 3rd to ensure timely distribution. The direct number, if anyone would like to contact them or stop there in person, the number is 716-941-3550, and their address is right in the town of Colden, 8745 Supervisor Avenue. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm hoping that the weather outside has not gotten too crazy, as I've been getting a couple of messages from our emergency manager, so I'm hoping that life is good out there. But on that note, if you're not aware, so hopefully we don't have any problems because we've already been dealing with the water main break. But there was a call with NYSEG earlier today, actually 4 p.m. specifically, to discuss that they're sending additional assets into Boston, Hamburg, and Orchard Park to basically be prepared for the wind and the impending storms that are coming in. So that's that there. Hopefully we don't continue our crazy week. If you have not seen the map on the town social media page, there is a map that Erie County Water Authority had provided the town. My apologies for the first map. We did try to get a better map the first time around. I know it was not great, but that was what Erie County Water Authority originally supplied to us. Essentially what happened, the backstory on this, is a 6.5-foot lateral crack down by May Drive, down by Churchill, and that crack had essentially drained the whole south end of town. It's just the way our water system is currently designed. The phase 2 of the project will bring in another what they call a transmission line from the farther south down on town that will feed the south end of town, so we don't have to continue to have these problems. But essentially what happened is that it drained the south end of town, ended up draining a good portion of the Crestwood water tank, which is up on Chestnut Ridge Road, and due to that and the amount of air that was in the system, EPA guidelines require a boil water advisory. We had fingers crossed that hopefully that was going to be lifted today. Obviously, it did not happen today because here we sit today. If you signed up for ECWA alerts, that was something else that some folks were not happy that the town was not notifying the residents. Respectfully, when you get into the world of boil water advisories, that is why Erie County Water Authority manages that system. That's why you send your bill and your payments to them. They handle the breaks. They handle all the O&M. We're responsible for the list that they provide to whoever sits in these 5 chairs. If they give us a list of 20 different items that they want taken care of, it's the town board's responsibility to take that on and to find a way to finance that. But as far as the O&M, the notices, et cetera, that's the water authority. So I just want to go on record and state that. Yes, we have our tools, but you start blurring lines when we start doing somebody else, especially an authority's job. So hopefully tomorrow morning, fingers crossed, as soon as I promise, as soon as I get the email or the voicemail or the phone call saying that the boil water notice has been lifted, I will post that out to social media. So if you're not following Boston NY on Facebook page or the government Facebook page, please jump online to Facebook, follow both of those. That's where the information is there. Or you can go out to Erie County Water Authority's X, I am so used to saying Twitter, but X account or their Facebook page. You can sign up for alerts, and they also put those notices out there. But that's what's going on with the water. The kind of, as Councilwoman Selby was saying, Phase 2 will address a lot of these. Phase 2 of the water projects is going to be hands down one of the largest projects this community has seen, hands down, in decades. It's on the back door of 6,900 linear feet. Again, also part of the budget presentation. But 6,900 linear feet, we're looking at a multi-million-dollar project, and that's to fix what's in the ground. There's no additional build out right now because we have to fix what we have because we keep having problems with it. So that's everything I have for everybody on water. There was the resolution where we declined the bids. Just this afternoon, we did open up bids. I'm a little hesitant to release numbers at this time, but we did have an estimate, a low bid, which came in much lower than the engineering estimate, which is good for all of us as taxpayers. So once the engineer sends the letter over to us, most likely by our next meeting in November here on the 19th, there'll be a resolution for the town board to approve that project being underway, how that's going to be funded, et cetera. And I know we have a lot of new folks here in the audience, but the reason why we're replacing the fuel tanks, for those of you who have not already heard this message, we're replacing the fuel tanks because there was a leak with our diesel tank down at the highway barn under one of the routine inspections. So we had to do soil mitigation, and we had to take the old tanks out of the ground. And now, to be proactive, we are putting in an above-ground tank there that will be a split tank for diesel and gasoline. Full engineering details and specifications are available to anybody who wants to take a look at them. Pop into the town clerk's office or submit a FOIL request, and we'll be happy to show those to you. Going back to some of the drainage concerns, and again, a lot of folks are here from the Pin Oak area. Last Friday, the town engineer met on site with the planning board chairman, because if you're here tonight, you definitely want to be part of that planning board meeting that Councilwoman Lukacic just talked about. That's where, as I like to say, that's the process. That's where all this stuff comes together. That's where you have the ability to hear what's being proposed, because truthfully, none of us sitting up here have even seen a design or a plan. We don't know. We have a number, but we don't have a map. We don't have a report. We don't have a design. The planning board will be discussing that. Please do keep an eye on. It's called, a lot of you have heard me talk about this. It's called SEQR, State Environmental Quality Review Act. It's an environmental assessment form. Drainage is one of the things that are on there. That's a state process. It has to be followed in these situations. So keep an eye on that when you're attending the planning board meetings. So that's what I have for drainage. But the engineer was on site. They took a look at that, and we are working on this. So I do appreciate the residents that have brought this to our attention. Friday is when we had that meeting on site. I know some of you were there. And again, we'll keep plugging along. Would like to welcome Max officially. Congratulate Max. I don't see Bob here, but they both secured their seats last night during the election. Rich, you and I go back many years. I appreciate everything you've done. You worked hard out there as well. So, I know you won't be a stranger. So we're always here anytime, and I appreciate everything you do as well. He always says that. So. But anyway, that is just, you know what, Mr. Jackson, I forgot, I almost missed it. Holiday lighting. So, again, we have a big audience here. Boy, this is a fun one. Glad you're all sitting down. Holiday lighting. NYSEG, so we had receptacles at the poles to plug in the holiday lights that we all enjoy as we're traveling up and down Boston State Road. NYSEG came to the town, probably about 8-9 months ago, and stated that in order to replace those, that we are required to not only fill out what's called a pole attachment agreement because it's their infrastructure, but also have what's called a fused disconnect. So coming off the main line, because it's a hot line, there would be a wire that goes to that, a fused disconnect, and supporting infrastructure. So then the town owns all that now, and then we can connect and disconnect holiday lights. That is still being worked on through the engineer. We do not have numbers yet to go, or the specs yet to go out to bid. I did ask for that before the meeting. I did not get that answer today. But where we're at with that is, just so you know, engineering estimates are about $1,000 to $1,500 a pole. Quick math, we have 70 poles. We're looking at $70,000+ to hang holiday lights at the poles. I wish that was not the case, but that's, again, your money. We're responsible for managing it, but that's your money. That's the state of our holiday lights. This is something that NYSEG is doing. Anybody wants to see the emails, the design, the requirements from NYSEG, we have it all. So we had retained Labella, who's the municipal engineer, to create a design spec, because nothing in life could be easy. Every pole has something different on it, whether it's like if you're in North Boston, for an example, you have Verizon, your true glass fiber optic cable, you have Spectrum, you have your utility lines, you have all these things. It's not a one-size-fits-all, so they have to design each one of these. So when these vendors, the contractors, go out and bid on this, they have to know, if they go to pole number 1, 2, 3, exactly what's there, so they know how to spec that out. Think of it like going out and getting an estimate on the roof of your house. So many square feet, pick your color, pick your type of shingle. That's what starts generating your numbers. So anyway, that's something that we've been taking on. It comes at a hefty price tag. So that's one of the things that's also being discussed. So that's my update that I have for you on regarding the Labella side of the NYSEG project for the holiday lights. And with that is all I have for tonight. I'll make a motion to end the meeting at 8:47 p.m.
I will second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Cardicchini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lukacek.
Yes.
Motion carried. Meeting adjourned.